Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Lacy Weston. Looking back, I had many hopes and dreams when I was 13 years old. I wanted to be a world champion bodybuilder. I wanted to open my own private better body and fitness studio and really help people get the bodies that they wanted. I also wanted to become a wonderful father for my future children. When I prepared this speech, it was meant for the graduates, but it's really for everyone. All of you are going to make it. But in order to touch your dreams, you must transform your reality. Some of you may be going off to top Ivy League schools. Others, state or city colleges. Some may be joining the military. Some may decide to stay home for a while and just catch up on your favorite reality TV show. And if you do, you're still contributing to the economic system, because you may be eating a name brand snack or drinking a name brand drink during that show. And if you do, you'll be helping the farmers, the grocers, manufacturers, and other contributors stay in business. You'll also be contributing to the success and earning potential of the writers, producers, directors, and actors for that show. But still, you're going to make it. You're going to make it because you're geniuses and champions. You're champions because you made it through birth. You made it through childcare with all the germs, millions of germs at daycare and kindergarten, all the eye infections, ear infections, stitches and shots at the doctor's office. And you made it through the countless teachers who told you repeatedly to turn around, pay attention, and stop talking during class right in the middle of one of your juicy conversations or texting moments. And now, you made it through high school, where all the teenage talk and gossip can ruin your media status within minutes. But again, you're going to make it. You see, because up until now, all of your schooling years have been for brain stimulation, tickling and exciting your brain cells. Your teachers have been working very hard to help you strengthen and sharpen your brain cells so that when you and your brain would arrive at this very moment to meet this change of life called graduation, you'll be much better equipped to make better life choices. But consider this. The frontal lobe of your brain is still open and will not close or reach full maturity until you're about 25. Translation. At times, you will make silly mistakes. Other times, you'll find yourself forgetting to do exactly what your parents and others have asked you to do or not to do the moment their lips stop moving. Nonetheless, you're still going to make it. And you're going to make it because you're geniuses. But that genius in you will not be recognized by you or anyone else until you decide to tap into your genius, use your genius, and share your genius with others. You must make a habit of dissecting your minds, your thoughts, and your ideas, and write them down for future reference. You must explore your feelings about yourself, others, and the world around you. You must investigate your potential and your abilities. You must train yourself to transcend obstacles mentally, physically, and spiritually. And most important, you must train yourself to transform your behavior for the good and the good of others. What it comes down to is this: how hard are you willing to work to get what you want out of life? How much time will you devote to you getting what you want out of life? And how much of a gamble are you willing to take on yourself? You must believe in yourself and practice this belief with positive action toward that belief each and every day. If 1,000 people stood before you and told you with their words and actions that they do not believe in you, you must continue believing in yourself even when others may not. I had to remind myself and pound that into my head when I was just a couple of years younger than all of you. I was 16 years old when I had my last agonizing beating. From the age of 4 to 16, I was beaten with various things: tennis rackets, leather belts, Hot Wheel racetracks, and extension cords. I vividly recall age 11 when I was forcefully pushed to the ground. And when I tried to get up, my face was met with a shoe as my caretaker stood over me with a foot against my face, beating me with a leather belt. Well, on that final day of that last beating when I was 16, I remember sitting on the edge of a bed. Now, it wasn't my bed because I wasn't given one, because my caretaker wanted to make it very clear where I stood in that house. And I also sat naked, because wearing clothes during beatings wasn't allowed. Well, as I sat there, I was mentally preparing myself for the coming pain and how to psychologically get through it. I was also focusing on past beatings and remembering that I would only get about 50 hits. So I focused on counting the hits as they came. Just then, my caretaker entered the room and ordered me to stand. And it's when I stood, I recognized this beating was going to be a little different than the others, because I noticed water dripping from the weather stripping cord in my caretaker's hand. Weather stripping is very much like a whip, but when you wet it, it has a greater chance of breaking skin and ripping flesh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. I can't really tell you how many hits came after that. I lost track. I was concentrating too much on not falling down. You see, because if I fell down, the beatings would last longer. When it was over, my caretaker screamed at me that I must have had Satan in me that day to withstand such a beating. I was out of breath. I was exhausted. I was in incredible pain. My nerves were out of control, so my body was shaking uncontrollably. But I had to make my way to the door to close it, to separate myself from the laughter coming from the other room. And it's when I turned and looked in the mirror that the tears began. Because I realized at that moment, when I saw the welts forming on my body and the blood seeping from my skin, I couldn't take it. So I went to the bathroom to clean myself up. It's when I opened the medicine cabinet, I saw a razor blade. And at that moment, I decided, let's just end things. Time to be done. As I thought about this, I folded my hands and leaned against the wall to balance myself because I couldn't sit. There were too many wounds, and it hurt to sit. Well, over the next 2 hours in that bathroom, many thoughts, questions, and goings-on in that house ran through my mind. The countless beatings over the years. Age 10, when I dove behind furniture to avoid 2 adults in my house who drew guns on each other. I thought about a girl at school I liked. I really liked. But I could never tell her or anybody else because I didn't want anybody to know what was happening at home. That was my secret. I thought about my brother Russ, the only one in that house I could ever trust, but he moved away when he joined the military. I would never become a world champion bodybuilder. I would never open my own private Better Body and Fitness studio. And there was no way I was becoming someone's father. I thought of all the time spent pumping iron, sweating buckets, and all the physical labor I went through to build my body. Then I thought of all the mental preparation I used each and every day just to step foot in that crazy house after school. And it was in that moment I decided I don't want to die as a martyr or a victim, but I want to live as a champion. And I felt suicide was a very stupid idea and would end up being a huge waste of my life. In fact, I thought any point I would have tried to make with a suicide would have either been misunderstood or quickly forgotten. And I believed I could serve many more people by living rather than dying. And I also believed I could touch my dreams and have a much better life if I just stayed on track and continued my hard work and mental preparation to transcend that chaos. On that day, I decided any trace of victim mentality in me had to be wiped out. And the warrior, the achiever, and the spirit in me had to get stronger and shine as brightly as possible for me to transcend and transform my mind and my reality. Before that day, I spent much of my time every day strategizing and planning just how to make it in that house every day. But on that final day of that beating, I decided no more. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I did become world champion. I did win Mr. America 3 times in a row, and Mr. Natural Universe as well, and I did it without steroids. You will never see me on television, on the news, or anywhere where someone says, this guy used steroids. I did it the right way. I did open Private Fitness by Lacy Weston, and it happens to be one of the longest running private training studios in Southern California. And I did become that father I wanted to be for my wonderful son, Casey, who's 27. He graduated from Stanford, and he got his master's at NYU. And my wonderful twin daughters, Marie and Raquel, who just graduated last night. And by the way, I'm a single father. All of you are graduating as champions and geniuses. You worked very hard. Your teachers have tickled and tested your brains for years. But again, you've worked hard and made it through it. You're geniuses, but you must remember to tap into your genius, use your genius, and share your genius with others. If you remember that, you will always make it. And without a doubt, you will thrive. Thank you.